Hey fam, what's up and welcome back to our Z Roll. Today we're doing a video that has been very requested for a while now and we just haven't had it at the top of our list to do, but we are going to do it. Today's the day. So we're going to be telling you guys our love story on how we met, got engaged, married, all that good stuff.
All the nitty gritty. So every story starts with a beginning. Good origin story. This is a good story. But we met in high school. Now this was a small high school. Our graduating class was like 47.
47.
Yeah, something like that.
Small Christian school.
And I kind of came in late. Like everyone in that school was together since grade school. Mm-hmm. I came in at my junior year of high school. Lacey was there her sophomore, so she kind of was with the program a little bit. Yeah. But going into a junior year in a high school was already kind of rough as it is because everyone's kind of formed their relationships and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And so I was going in and didn't really know anybody, but ended up making some friends. One of the friends I made, actually, who is still a really good friend to this day, they grew up together.
Yeah, him and I. We were, our moms were best friends, so we were good friends together. So that kind of, he's like, hey, this is Justin. I'm like, hi. I think he was the one that introduced us. And so we didn't really think much of it. We were kind of annoyed with each other with certain things about each other at first, honestly. But going through that, nothing much came of it. We're just kind of friends through different friends. But our senior year is kind of where things started to develop, you would say, because we were kind of forced to be together. And the reason I say that is because Justin ran for class president for our senior year. And he got it because him and this friend made t-shirts the day before, right?
Yeah, I wasn't planning on running. My buddy's like, hey dude, you should run the night before we're supposed to run.
They said vote for Zachman.
And we spray painted shirts to vote for Zachman. Everyone else has been campaigning for weeks. Yeah. And we just was like, let's just do it. And we won.
So, and I ran for vice president and I won that. So we had to plan a lot of things together, a lot of fundraisers, because we were a small private school. We had to do there's a lot of things through fundraisers, so we had to plan different events. So we were okay, I remember you came back over the summer from Hawaii or something, and I was trying to get a hold of you. I'm we need to get together and plan stuff for our school. Do you remember that? We had met at McDonald's.
Yeah, she was so annoyed with me. She's like, I've been trying to get a hold of you. Also, I'm sorry, I was on vacation, and and then I went to Europe too. It was a back-to-back thing. It was Hawaii, and then I went to
just this
Romania.
traveling man already. So,
but that was why we were annoyed with each other, because I was the kind of person, still into today, where I'm last minute, just kind of oh, we'll figure it out, let's go,
and I'm whoa,
let's improv this, and she's the planner, and so that was already the thing. I'm the president. I'm we'll figure it out. It's all gonna work together. She's no, we need to plan this thing. And I'm who cares? It's gonna work out. It's high school. That was my thing. I'm this is high school, not a big deal.
And I'm very gotta meet the deadlines type of person. There was things that needed to be due, and I was needing some things back from him, and he kept saying, oh, I forgot it. And 4 months later, he finally told me I actually lost it. So I was just kind of that kind of stuff. We were it was hard. But I think that also started forming something obviously.
Yes,
I remember also when you came back from Hawaii, you were really tan, and it was weird because you're redhead and you usually don't tan, and I was I
got a quarter Portuguese in me.
I was oh, he looks really cute. And so I was just whatever, and then continued with our senior year. We had to be together, and another thing, we were in a musical together.
Yeah.
So there's another little hidden gem. We were in Hello Dolly. And so we had practices every day after school. So we were together a lot. And we just had a lot of fun together. So this friendship started forming.
We had this great friendship, and it was to the point, actually, where I was dating someone at the time. She was kind of on and off relationships and stuff. And so we were not interested in each other whatsoever.
No.
To the point, actually, where people would actually, guys would come to me and say, hey, you know Lacey well. You know what she likes. How can I woo her, basically? And I would plan their date. So hey, this is what you need to do. Go buy this, do this. She likes that.
Because one guy asked me to like our prom, and he asked you how to even do it or something, right? Just different things.
I was like, okay, I'll set it up. We're good. And that was kind of what it was until one time, and we did like some kind of project together. And again, we were friends for a couple years now, like, a year and a half or so.
Yeah.
Like, acquaintances, friends, and all that kind of stuff. And it was like, we did something like creative together. It was a project that we got lined up together. We had to do together with a couple other people. And which is so funny because we do like creative stuff together.
Yeah, and it was a video project.
It was a video project.
Yeah, we had to make
and that's
a movie.
actually where I met Cassidy the first time too, because she was in that video project.
She was in it, yeah.
Yeah, it was called The Kidnapper.
The Kidnapping.
The Kidnapping.
Yeah.
I was a creepy ex-boyfriend kidnapping her sister in the film.
We like made this whole story plan of it.
Yeah, so storyboard, whatever.
Storyboard, yeah.
But during that filming or whatever of, having to work together for like a week filming this whole thing, it kind of clicked. I'm like, I think she's beautiful. Like it was like attraction hit there, which is kind of interesting. Yeah. And it was almost just like, these are some feelings that what? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just kind of happened.
And I think that's the funny thing is when you have a friendship and it's all friend, there's some point, like where that does click. And I remember that, like, clicking moment where I'm just like, huh. But then I'm like, whatever, maybe, whatever, who knows? Yeah. And so we just kind of went on with the school year.
I think we didn't want to ruin, like, our friendship was really good, too. Because I had that clicking moment from my teacher, one of my English teachers. She's like, so, Lacey, when are you going to tell him? I'm like, who? And she's like, Justin, when are you going to tell him that you like him? I'm like, I don't like Justin. She's like, yeah, sure. I see you guys flirting every day. And I'm like, we're not flirting, we're just friends. Yeah, whatever. It's just kind of, and then it kind of clicked with me. I'm like, oh, I think I do like him, Yeah. And so we kind of both had those moments.
Yeah. And like Lisa said, we didn't want to ruin anything. We had a good thing going, so we're like, hey, whatever. So I continued like telling guys like what she liked, and it was just a thing, and we just went through high school. We graduated, and it wasn't about maybe a year after graduation, maybe a little less, when it just got to the point where that grew. Yeah. That attraction never went away. It grew. And all of our friends kind of knew it, but it was still at the moment where we didn't really know, like, does he really like me still? Like, she like me?
We never had that conversation.
We never had the conversation. Yeah. And, even though we knew, we didn't know because we didn't have the conversation. Right. And so I was just finished with it, and me being kind of like the last minute improv kind of person I am, and just kind of like, hey, let's just get it done, call it good. I forget what we were doing, but we were at Fred Meyer grocery store in the parking lot. I looked at her, I said, hey, so I'm pretty sure you like me, and if you don't, this is awkward, but I'm pretty sure you do, and I like you, so should we make this official? And she looks at me like, yeah, we should. Yeah. And that's literally how I asked her out. So that was a fun summer, and that we finally made it official. Yeah. And why I love that summer so much is I was going away for college. Yes. And I think that's why it took us so long to pop the question, because I'm like, hey, I'm going away for a year.
Like, do we want to start a relationship?
Do we want to start a relationship? But it was to the point where, like, yes, like I can't see myself with anyone else. Right. And that year was special for me for a lot of ways, and it was because I got to know her in a different way, but also her family, like her sister and her sisters, and John C. and Cassidy, as you guys know Cassidy, and brothers, and it was so fun. I would go there, and they're a hockey family, so they would teach me everything about hockey. I knew nothing about hockey, so they would dress me up in some crazy, like,
and we're putting you in rollerblades and all the gear, and we're just like running circles around you.
It was fun times, but it was like really good bonding moments, and just memories that we'll always cherish as a family. Like, we talk about it all the time when we come together. Like, remember that time, this and that. It felt like it was years packed in a summer. Yeah.
It was a really fun summer. Yeah. He actually worked for my dad, too. My dad hired him on because I was like, oh, gosh, this is going to be a big test, because, like, my dad's a really big, like, he's a really hard worker, and he's very big on, like, work ethic. So I'm like, this is really going to show, because he knew, like, he was really interested in me, like, we were moving towards that, like, point of engagement, marriage. Yeah. So, and he got like raging reviews. Like, my dad, I feel like he was almost a little mad. He's like, everybody on the job site's talking about how good of a worker Justin is. I'm like, yay.
And then I went to college. Yep. And that was hard. Obviously, it was long distance. It was really good, though, because she kind of found out who she was apart from me.
It was good.
I found out who I was apart from her. As we're kind of getting older, right? Because, we're high school. Right.
Sharpened our communication skills, for sure.
Quite a bit. I mean, this is before, like, FaceTime and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Skype didn't really do it because it was my Wi-Fi was so bad at the school. So it was literally
images blurry.
It was and it was like flip phone kind of stuff. Yeah. So it was like literally like
phone calls.
Highlight of that was when she came down. Probably like halfway through when I was gone about I don't know, several months in.
Yeah, came and visited him at his college.
Yeah, and this is where I think this is what is so cool about relationships is like when you learn something you didn't really know that was there, right? Because you think at this point we're like we know everything about each other. Like that's what we really felt.
Yeah.
But
talk to each other multiple times a day.
But we went down. She went down. I was in California, and I had a season pass to Disneyland. I was an hour away from the park, and I would go there all the time. Like we would go there for a couple hours in the evening. Like it was so fun. Like, and so I'm like, well, that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take her to Disneyland, and I didn't know that she liked Disneyland. I think we talked about it a little bit, like some.
You knew my family, and I would go a lot.
We would go and stuff, but that was it. I'm like, yeah. Doesn't every family go to Disneyland? Like that's kind of how we grew up. So, because I was born in California,
right.
So, and so I was just like everyone. But she was born in Idaho. Yeah. So it was kind of strange that you were such a Disney fan
really
because no one else
family.
really in our sphere of friends didn't really know Disneyland too much. So we went down there, took her down there, and all of a sudden I realized that she was a Disney nerd. Like, and I was like, she came in just like she brought gear up
Disney
to go
gear.
To the park, and I'm like, okay, right, this is good. And so we started talking like, wait, so you like Disney a lot then? Like I knew you liked Disney, and so we talked about stories and family stuff, and we realized that like we both value Disney. We both really like Disney.
Yeah, and we loved going on the rides. We loved like the food, and so
that was
a
really
cool
cool experiencing because like all these nostalgic rides we were now experiencing them together.
Right.
Which was such a weird thing to think about, right?
Yeah.
And but anyway, it's funny because a lot of people ask us like, okay, so who liked Disney first? Like, was it Lacey that liked Disney, and then Justin you started liking Disney because of Lacey? I'm like, no, it was actually mutual.
It was.
Like we both really like Disney.
And here we are now, like vlogging about Disney.
Yeah, we're vlogging about Disney. So getting back from college, it was about I don't know what, a year and a half after getting back from college, or a year.
Of more dating,
and then I popped the question.
Yes.
So I remember, it's getting to that point where I'm like, okay, it's probably time. So I took her dad out to Five Guys Burgers, and I asked him, I said, hey, can I? And he obviously knew why I was hanging out with Five Guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I should ask your dad. Like, I should ask your dad. Like, what was he thinking when I said, "Hey, like, you want to go to Five Guys Burger with me?"
Right.
He's probably like, this punk kid. Like, what are you talking about? But I asked him the question, and he's like, "Yes, I give you permission to the blessing." And I was like, "So right on." And I was like, "Thanks, Joe," and thank you, Joe, still. And it was cool. It was a cool moment. But I think the thing is thinking about that is you see it in the movies and you see how the guy asked the dad and stuff, but like when you're actually doing it is the weirdest thing. It was like an out-of-body experience. I'm like, am I doing this?
I have a question for you. I've never asked this. Was it like scarier to ask my dad permission to marry me, or was it scarier to ask me? Because you were like nervous the day you asked me though too. Definitely my dad. Probably.
I mean, I think more because we'll get to that point of why I was nervous, I guess, asking you. But it was I couldn't read your dad at the time. I can read your dad a lot more now, like. Just because we have a good relationship. But I think at the time I'm like, but no, because I mean, even working for your dad, like all the guys are like all the bosses and everything because your dad was the vice president of this plumbing company, and they would always be like, so how's Joe? Like, is that scary being like, maybe the future son-in-law of Joe? And I'm like, I guess. And so like. That was that. Like, he's the boss. Like, you know what I mean? So I think that was scary, like, asking the boss, right? So
yeah. So for our engagement story, it was on Thanksgiving that he was planning on proposing to me. Well, he probably planned it for a while, but he had the ring ready because you told me later you're, like, showing some of my family, like, Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah, I remember showing Cassidy, like, it was behind, like a pillow. I'm like, hey, look at this. She's like, what is that? I'm like, shh, kind of thing. But she was super young.
Yeah, so everybody kind of knew it was happening.
So her mom, everyone.
But, so Black Friday is kind of our thing. We like to go shopping on Black Friday. We like to stay out late. Like, the stores are open all night. So it's just something fun to do, especially because Idaho.
Everything closes so early. Closed.
And, so we were planning on going out. And so after we went to the movies with my family, it was kind of a tradition on Thanksgiving night. Then we went back home and then got ready to go out and go shopping. Well, Justin told me, he's like, I'm going to bring my laptop because I have something to show you. I didn't think anything of it. He kind of prepped me for this because during our dating time, he made, like, really cool, like, videos of, like, our pictures and different things we've done to, like, music, kind of like a slideshow, like a scrapbook slideshow for me.
Yeah.
And just kind of...
Your digital scrapbook.
Digital scrapbook of our dating time and pictures, and he gave it to me for Valentine's, and so he told me, he's like, I'm going to continue, like, adding to this, and so I was really excited about it. And so he told me, he's like, hey, I've added more to it, I was going to, show it to you. So I didn't think, like, anything of it, so you did good preparing there, or I would have been, like, a little suspicious.
I'm a pretty last minute guy, so I mean, that was
good
took
planning.
Some thought.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. So he took me to this spot. It was, like, really cute by this river down in it's called Eagle, the area we were at. And there was, like, a bench, and we were sitting on it, and he handed me the laptop. And he started it from, I remember, like, the beginning. So it's kind of like the starting point of where he first made the video. So I was like, oh, yeah, I saw this part. And then there's a continued. Because I think it said, like, to be continued on it.
Each segment. To be continued. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, excited to see the rest of it. We had more pictures together because we went to a mission trip with some people from our church together. So there was pictures from that and just different things. And then he made, like, this really cute, like, animation to the song, like Bob Marley's I Wanna Love You, and, like, building like a home. And it was so cute. It's my favorite thing. He's, like, all embarrassed of it still.
It's pretty terrible.
But I love it. And then at the end of it, when it was done, it said, will you, ... And then he was down on the bottom of the bench on one knee with the ring and asked to marry me. And I was very, like, shocked.
There was a pause.
And it was, like, it was not an immediate yes at all.
No, there wasn't.
Not, like, a bad thing. I was just, like, in shock. I was not expecting it.
And I was nervous for that, and also I was nervous that, like, the video wasn't going to work and stuff. Because that was, like, my plan. I'm like, well, if the video doesn't work, that's why I was saying I was nervous.
Right.
I was nervous because...
It was all on that video.
It was on that video. I'm like, if this doesn't work, if this doesn't play, if the flash drive is not... You know what I mean? I'm, like, making sure I have everything and stuff.
So many things could go wrong. Your battery probably would have close to be dead.
I'm like, what do I do now?
So going forward, now we are just planning the wedding. We planned the wedding for July, so we got married on a very hot day in July outside. Yeah. It was a great wedding.
Great wedding.
Loved our wedding so much. Yeah. Such a great day. His dad is a pastor, so he married us, which was really, really special. And still, I feel like people still are like, talk about our wedding. Like, that was such a great wedding. Yeah. Like, it was so fun. It was such a fun celebration.
Yeah, I actually just got someone just the other day was like, I remember your wedding. It was so fun. One of my favorite weddings.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool.
That
is
really cool.
I think, honestly, like, we were just so carefree, too. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, if stuff went wrong, it went wrong. Like, it didn't bother us. And I think that's what it was. It was just a carefree, fun celebration, and everyone had a good time.
Yeah.
There was no drama. It was
and we had a lot of people that helped out, and we were just, like, thankful for whatever they did. We didn't have, like, everything had to be a certain way.
It was just fun.
So that helped a lot.
And then last thing we want to talk about, because it kind of completes this, the story, is our honeymoon. Yeah. And this was such a fun moment because this is the first time, like, we're traveling together. Like, we went on that mission trip Lacey was talking about, but this is the first time we planned something together. We're traveling together alone. And
paying for everything by ourselves.
And this goes back to when we went to Disneyland.
Yeah.
So because that moment was so rich for us, of kind of realizing that, wow, like, we're perfect together, you know? We decided to make, like, a Disney honeymoon. And so I've never been to Disney World before. Lacey has, but I've never been at that time. And so we definitely wanted to do that. And then there was something else that I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to go on a cruise. Never have. And Disney has a cruise.
I was like, oh yeah,
I've never do they? I'm like,
heard
yeah,
anybody doing one.
And so, like, we're like, why not? And so we looked it up. No one in our sphere would at that time went on a Disney cruise. It was foreign. There wasn't, like, vlogs there is now. Like, it was just kind of like, I mean, this is 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I remember planning it, and it was.
Did, like, the bulk of all the planning and just kind of like told me the itinerary, and I was like, I was stoked. I was like,
and
this
guys,
sounds great.
It was like all our money. Like it was everything I said. I'm like, I want to do something good. So I remember like we're hustling and doing like side hustles just to
saving up for this trip.
Like I really wanted to make it fun, and and it was like all we can do to do it, you know. But it was cool because I think the reason why this was so special is like we really wanted to travel. Like we always have wanted to see things and experience things.
New things together.
And it's always been part of our DNA, I guess, you know? I mean, we started a YouTube channel and to travel, and it's just, and it was kind of cool. It was the start of something, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience because I remember we were both like, didn't really know what to expect. And I remember when we like embarked on the cruise too, we were just like, what is going on? And they introduced us, you know, if you've been on Disney Cruise, the Zachman family. And I was just like, we're a family and we're married and we're doing something. It was surreal. It was pretty crazy, but I will always look back and cherish those memories because that was something, it was just really special that we had no idea like what we were getting into and how much we were going to enjoy it from years to come, and now taking our kids and stuff. So there we go, guys. That is our story of how we met, our love story. That was fun.
It brings us together.
Marriage. Yes, we got to throw in the Princess Bride line.
Classic.
But it was really fun, and we are going to be actually celebrating our 11th year anniversary in this July in Alaska.
I thought you were going to say the 11th hour. 11th hour. We're celebrating the 11th hour.
That wouldn't be
11 years.
I know. So
crazy.
Pretty cool.
And in Alaska. 11 years in Alaska.
It's a place we've never been before.
Never been.
We're excited.
It's the whole... we're really excited.
Yeah.
It's what's crazy about that is we're traveling, you know, which we love to do, but also we're like hanging out with Lake Life.
Some really great friends that we've met through this.
Yeah, it's such a cool thing. Like words can't describe that. Anyway.
But yeah, I feel like very honored to be married to this guy because I look up to him a lot. Like I want to be more like him since we've been like friends. I've just always admired him, and I think that was the big part that drew me to him. As much as he like annoyed me with his things and how crazy and how different he was than me, I was like, I just couldn't get enough of him, and I still can't, which 11 years later, more than that, with how long we've known each other, that's a good sign.
It's a good sign. Yeah, I think something that I've always loved about Lacey is the fact that like you just get it done. You know what I mean? Like and you don't let obstacles like hold you up. Like if that's people or if that's things, like you're just kind of like, you know, like I think you've helped me get out of the whole people pleasing lifestyle, and that's just what a bummer to be in because like you're not. I feel like you're unstable when you're that way. Like you can't like really hone in on like what you should be, what your calling is. Like you know what I mean? And like, but you helped me through that is not to be a people person, you know. Or a people pleaser. Yeah. I'm still a people person, for sure.
Always will be.
Always will be. But I think the thing is I valued that because you're really grounded in that area. Yeah. You know, so I think we definitely balance each other out.
We do, and you've helped me out so much in areas where I'm just scared to take a step of faith and apply for certain jobs or do certain things. And he's the one that helped me like finish and go back to college if it wasn't for him. So yeah, we do. We're a good team. I think.
We're a good team.
Yeah.
So anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I mean, this has been like a couple years in the making. Like we've had a lot of requests.
We have.
For this video.
And we kept like bringing it up and they're like, oh, no, let's do something else.
We just didn't really want to sit down and do it, and I don't know why.
I don't either.
But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. But anyways, thank you so much again, guys, for just all your support. We love you so much. Yeah. Have an amazing week, and we'll see you guys real soon.
Bye.
Love you.